Well, Duck Dynasty star Phil Robertson's got a new book out, Jesus, Politics, How to Win Back the Soul of America. There's a look at it right now. He's joining us to discuss how America can truly be a nation that proclaims "In God We Trust." Phil, thank you, sir, for being with us. Tell me, first of all, what you think the problem is in politics or maybe in the country right now.
Well, as long as we adhered to the Judeo-Christian values, the ones we started with, it ended up being, at the hands of our fathers, the world's greatest superpower. All of a sudden, here comes Karl Marx one more time. Here comes Karl Marx, and we're starting down that same path that these other empires, they rise and they fall, they rise and they fall. When you don't think it worthwhile to attain the knowledge of God, God gives you over to a depraved mind to do what ought not to be done. That's basically what the book is showing, the difference between the godly and the ungodly, the good and the evil.
Yeah, Karl Marx, the ungodly. Tell me what you think needs to be done right now. How do we put Jesus back into politics in a way that's acceptable to folks?
Well, I'll give your listeners a little insight. I've had 3 little short visits, one on the phone, 2 personal, with Donald J. Trump. Once when he was running, and the other 2 is after he won the election. So all 3 times I met with him, you say, what was the conversation about? Was it about politics or was it about spiritual matters? It was about spiritual matters with the Bible at the center of the discussions. I found him to be a believer. I shared Jesus with him. I told him we need more of it. And I told him that there's a vast difference between the Supreme Court, fallible men and women, and the supreme being, infallible. So I presented him Jesus. I told him about him, and he said, He said, can I have that piece of paper? And I gave it to him. So he is a believer, rough around the edges, straight to the point, caustically brilliant. That's Donald Trump.
Yeah. So when you talk about Jesus in politics, do you think we need more Jesus inside the Beltway? Or are you talking about people throughout the country need to conduct politics and think about them with Jesus in mind?
Since they did not think it worthwhile to retain the knowledge of God, God gave them over to a depraved mind to do what ought not to be done. They've become filled with every kind of wickedness, evil, greed, depravity. They're full of murder, envy. They're gossips, slanderers, God haters, insolent, arrogant, boastful. That's the list that the Roman Empire had fallen victim to. No Jesus. When there's no Jesus, the Jesus rate is low, the murder rate is always high. Where there's Jesus, the murder rate and the crime rate is way low every time throughout history.
Okay. So give me a feel for how you see this shaping up, this election.
If Donald Trump goes back in, it will be the greatest thing that's happened to America in my lifetime. If he does not go back in, you can prepare yourself for hell on earth.
In what way?
The riots and the looting and the burning and the despising of authority will get worse and worse and worse and worse without the leadership of like Donald Trump. He is a friend to God. He helps the godly. He's done more for Christianity. Christianity is what is the glue that holds us together. Listen, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Stack that up against what you're seeing in our major cities.
Yeah, the Karl Marx thing you brought up.
He's their leader, and Karl Marx is sending them down a path that we know where it ends up.
Yeah.
It's misery and destruction and death. Hundreds of millions have died because of that ideology. Lenin, one of his proteges, said religion is the opium of the people. It must be taken out, must be destroyed.
All right. Phil Robertson, thank you, sir. Send our best to your family. Thank you so much for joining us again. His new book, Jesus Politics, How to Win Back the Soul of America. Thank you, sir.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.